sklearn decomposition. Description explain in detail dimensionality reduction techniques aim to reduce the number of features in a dataset while preserving as much information as possible. This can be beneficial for various tasks, including simplifying data visualization. Reducing the number of dimensions allows for easier plotting and understanding of the data. Improving model performance. High-dimensional datasets can lead to overfitting, and dimensionality reduction can help to mitigate this issue. Reducing computational cost. Reducing the number of features can make training and prediction faster. Inputs. Input 1. Explain in detail data. The input data must be a numerical array, with each row representing an instance and each column representing a feature. Input 2. Explain in detail parameters. Different decomposition techniques have different parameters that can be adjusted to control the behavior of the algorithm. Outputs. Output 1. Explain in detail transformed data. The output of dimensionality reduction is a lower dimensional representation of the original data. This could be a matrix of reduced dimensions. Output 2. Explain in detail components. Some decomposition techniques provide access to the components that are used to project the data into the lower dimensional space. This can be a useful tool for understanding how the original features are related in the reduced space. Steps. Step 1. Explain in detail data preprocessing. Scale or normalize the data, typically using standard scaling or min-max scaling. Step 2. Explain in detail decomposition. Apply the chosen dimensionality reduction technique, such as principal component analysis (PCA), linear discriminant analysis (LDA), or non-negative matrix factorization (NMF). Metrics. Metric 1. Explain in detail explained variance. PCA provides explained variance, which indicates the amount of variance in the original data captured by each principal component. Metric 2. Explain in detail reconstruction error. For techniques like NMF, a reconstruction error is calculated to evaluate how well the original data can be reconstructed from the lower dimensional representation. Visualization plots. Visualization plot 1. Explain in detail scree plot. A scree plot shows the explained variance of each principal component, which helps in determining the optimal number of components to keep. Visualization plot 2. Explain in detail 2D 3D scatter plots. Visualizing the reduced data in 2D or 3D can provide insights into the underlying structure of the data. Fine-tune parameters. Parameter 1. Explain in detail number of components. This parameter determines the number of dimensions to reduce to. Parameter 2. Explain in detail regularization parameter. Some techniques like LDA and NMF have regularization parameters to control the complexity of the model. Uncertainty methods. Uncertainty method 1. Explain in detail bootstrapping. Create multiple subsamples of the data and perform decomposition on each subsample. The variability in the resulting components can be used to estimate uncertainty. Uncertainty method 2. Explain in detail Bayesian inference. Some decomposition techniques, such as Bayesian PCA, provide inherent uncertainty estimates through the posterior distributions of the model parameters. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1. Explain in detail overfitting. When the number of components is too high, the model can overfit to the training data, leading to poor generalization performance. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1. Using a high number of components in PCA for a small dataset can lead to overfitting. Fixes to challenge 1. Use cross-validation to determine the optimal number of components. Regularize the model using techniques like L1 or L2 regularization. Challenge 2. Explain in detail interpreting components. Understanding the meaning of a Components in the reduced space can be challenging. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2 components in NMF might not have a clear interpretation. Fixes to challenge 2 use feature importance techniques to identify the most important features that contribute to each component. Visualize the components using scatter plots or heat maps. Sklearn Decomposition Dictionary Learning. Description dictionary learning is a powerful dimensionality reduction technique in scikit-learn that aims to learn a set of atoms or dictionary elements that can represent the data efficiently. It's particularly useful when dealing with sparse signals or data with complex underlying structures. Inputs. X. This is the input data. Usually a NumPy array or similar structure. Each row in X represents a data point, and each column represents a feature. N components. This parameter specifies the number of atoms dictionary elements to learn. It directly controls the dimensionality reduction. Outputs. Components. This is the learned dictionary. A NumPy array where each row represents an atom. These atoms can be interpreted as the fundamental building blocks of your data. Code. This is the sparse representation of your original data using the learned dictionary. Each row in code represents a data point, and each column represents the coefficient of a particular atom in reconstructing the data point. Steps. Initialization. The algorithm starts by randomly initializing the dictionary elements. Iterative optimization. Dictionary learning iteratively refines the dictionary elements and sparse code by minimizing a cost function that encourages sparsity in the representation and accurate reconstruction of the original data. Convergence. The process continues until the dictionary and sparse code converge to a stable solution, meaning the cost function no longer significantly decreases. Metrics. Sparsity. The degree of sparsity in the learned sparse code. This is desirable because it means the data can be represented using only a few non-zero coefficients, indicating a compressed representation. Reconstruction error. This measures how well the original data can be reconstructed from a learned dictionary and sparse code. Lower reconstruction error means better data representation. Visualization plots. Dictionary visualization. The learned atoms can be visualized as images, histograms, or other appropriate plots to gain insight into the underlying structures in the data. Sparse code visualization. The sparse code can be visualized as heat maps or scatter plots to understand which atoms are most important for representing different data points. Fine-tune parameters. Alpha. This parameter controls the sparsity of the learned code. Higher values encourage more sparsity. Transform non-zero coefs. This parameter influences how many non-zero coefficients are used for representing each data point. It can be helpful for controlling the complexity of the sparse representation. Uncertainty methods. Bootstrapping. Multiple dictionaries can be learned from different subsets of the data. Bootstrapping to assess the variability and uncertainty of the learned atoms. Bayesian methods. Bayesian approaches can be used to incorporate prior knowledge about a dictionary and estimate the uncertainty of the learned components. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1. Data preprocessing. If the data has features with very different scales, it can impact the learning process. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1. Learning a dictionary from data with features that have vastly different ranges can lead to some features dominating the dictionary learning process. Fixes to challenge 1. Standardize or normalize the data before fitting the dictionary learning model to ensure all features have similar scales. Challenge 2. Choosing n components. Selecting the appropriate number of dictionary elements is crucial. Too few components might not capture the data well, while too many components can lead to overfitting. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2 setting n components too low might not represent the underlying structure of the data, while setting it too high might lead to a dictionary that is not generalizable to new data. Fixes to challenge 2: experiment with different values of n components. Consider cross-validation, and use visualization techniques to assess the quality of the learned dictionaries for different values. sklearn decomposition fast ICA. Description fast ICA is an algorithm for independent component analysis ICA. A statistical method that aims to separate the multivariate signal into additive subcomponents that are as statistically independent as possible. It is a widely used technique in signal processing, machine learning, and other fields where data can be modeled as a mixture of independent sources. Inputs. X the input data, where each row represents a sample and each column represents a feature. It is expected to be a NumPy array or a similar data structure. N components, the number of independent components to extract. This should be a positive integer less than or equal to the number of features in X. Outputs. Components, the estimated independent components, where each row represents an independent component and each column represents a feature. Mixing, the estimated mixing matrix, which transforms the independent components into the observed data. Steps. Centering, the algorithm first centers the data by subtracting the mean from each feature. Whitening. Next, the data is whitened, which means that the covariance matrix is transformed into an identity matrix. This ensures that the components are uncorrelated. Independent component extraction. The core of fast ICA involves iteratively finding directions in the whitened data space that maximize non-Gaussianity. The algorithm uses a fixed point iteration method, which converges to the independent components. Metrics. Kurtosis. Kurtosis measures the peakedness of a distribution. Independent components are typically expected to have high kurtosis, indicating a more peaked distribution compared to Gaussian noise. Mutual information. This metric quantifies the statistical dependence between variables. For independent components, the mutual information should be close to zero. Visualization plots. Scatterplots. Scatterplots of the independent components can help visualize the relationships between them and identify potential outliers or patterns. Histograms. Histograms of the independent components can provide insights into their distribution and non-Gaussianity. Fine-tune parameters. Algorithm. The algorithm used for finding the independent components. Options include parallel default and deflation. Whiten. Whether to whiten the data before extracting the components. True by default. Maxiter. The maximum number of iterations to perform. Toll. The tolerance for convergence. Uncertainty methods. Bootstrap resampling. Repeatedly resampling the data and applying fast ICA to estimate the uncertainty in the independent components. Bayesian methods. Employing Bayesian inference to incorporate prior knowledge about the independent components and estimate their posterior distributions. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1: overfitting. If the number of independent components is too large, the algorithm may overfit to the data and extract components that are not truly independent. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1: applying fast ICA to a dataset with a high number of features and selecting a large number of components. Fixes to challenge 1: use cross-validation to select an appropriate number of components. Regularization techniques can also be applied to prevent overfitting. Challenge 2: convergence issues in some cases. The fixed point iteration method used in fast ICA may not converge, leading to inaccurate results. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2: applying fast ICA to a dataset with highly correlated features. Fixes to challenge 2: try different values for the Maxiter and toll parameters. Consider using a different algorithm, such as deflation. Pre-processing the data to reduce correlations can also be helpful. sklearn. Decomposition. Incremental PCA. Description. Incremental PCA is a class in scikit-learn for performing dimensionality reduction using principal component analysis (PCA). It is designed for handling large datasets that cannot fit into memory at once. Instead of loading the entire dataset into memory, incremental PCA processes data in batches, updating its model incrementally. This makes it suitable for scenarios where data arrives sequentially or when memory constraints are a concern. Inputs. XA2D array representing the input data. Each row corresponds to a data point, and each column represents a feature. The shape of X is n samples. N features. Batch size: the number of data points to process in each batch. This value should be set according to available memory resources. A larger batch size can result in faster processing but requires more memory. Outputs. X-transformed A2D array representing the transformed data in the lower dimensional space. The shape of X-transformed is n samples. N components. Components: A2D array containing the principal components. Each row represents a principal component, and each column corresponds to a feature. The shape of components is n components. N features. Steps. The algorithm first initializes the principal components using a small initial batch of data. Subsequent batches of data are then processed one by one. For each batch, the algorithm updates the principal components based on the new data. The update process involves calculating the covariance matrix for the current batch, then updating the eigenvectors and eigenvalues of the covariance matrix. This process continues until all data has been processed. Metrics. Explained variance ratio. This metric represents the proportion of variance in the original data that is captured by each principal component. Reconstruction error. This metric measures the difference between the original data and a reconstructed data after dimensionality reduction. Visualization plots. Scree-plot. A scree-plot shows the explained variance ratio of each principal component. It helps visualize the importance of different components and identify the optimal number of components to keep. Biplot. A biplot displays both the data points and the principal components in a 2D or 3D space. It provides insights into the relationships between features and data points in the reduced dimensionality. Fine-tune parameters. N components. The number of components to keep. This parameter controls the dimensionality of the reduced space. Whiten. A boolean indicating whether to whiten the transformed data. Whitening ensures that all components have unit variance, which can be useful for some downstream tasks. Copy. A boolean indicating whether to copy the input data before processing. If false, the input data is modified in place. Uncertainty methods. Confidence intervals. Confidence intervals can be calculated for the principal components to quantify the uncertainty in their estimates. Bootstrapping. Bootstrapping can be used to estimate the variability of the principal components and the explained variance ratio. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1: data drift. If the data distribution changes over time, the previously learned principal components may become outdated. Sample use case. An online recommendation system where user preferences evolve over time. Fixes. Periodically retrain the incremental PCA model with new data to adapt to data drift. Use a sliding window approach to process only recent data points. Challenge 2. Memory constraints. Handling large datasets can be challenging, especially when memory is limited. Sample use case analyzing sensor data from a large number of devices. Fixes. Reduce the batch size to minimize memory usage. Consider using a distributed computing framework to process data across multiple machines. Challenge 3. High computational cost. Processing large datasets can be computationally expensive, especially for a high number of features. Sample use case analyzing images with millions of pixels. Fixes. Use a smaller number of components to reduce the dimensionality. Consider using a GPU for accelerated processing. Employ techniques like feature selection to reduce the number of features before performing PCA. sklearn decomposition kernel PCA. Description kernel PCA is a nonlinear dimensionality reduction technique that uses kernel functions to project data into a higher dimensional space, where linear methods can be applied to find principal components. It allows for capturing nonlinear relationships in the data and finding meaningful lower dimensional representations. Inputs. X. A NumPy array or pandas data frame containing the data to be decomposed. Each row represents a data point, and each column represents a feature. Kernel. The kernel function to be used. The default is RBF radial basis function. Other options include linear, poly, sigmoid, and custom kernels. Outputs. X transformed. A NumPy array containing the transformed data in the lower dimensional space. Each row represents a transformed data point. Lambdas. A NumPy array containing the eigenvalues of the kernel matrix. These values represent the variance explained by each principal component. Steps. Kernel computation. The algorithm computes the kernel matrix, which represents the similarity between all pairs of data points based on the chosen kernel function. Eigenvalue decomposition. The kernel matrix is decomposed using eigenvalue decomposition. The eigenvectors associated with the largest eigenvalues correspond to the principal components. Projection. The data is projected onto the subspace spanned by the selected principal components, reducing its dimensionality. Metrics. Variance explained. The proportion of variance explained by each principal component, represented by the eigenvalues. Reconstruction error. The difference between the original data and the reconstructed data after dimensionality reduction, measured using metrics like mean squared error. Visualization plots. Scree-plot. This plot visualizes the eigenvalues in descending order, highlighting the importance of each principal component. Projection plot. This plot shows the transformed data points in the lower dimensional space, visualizing the relationships between them. Fine-tune parameters. N components. The number of principal components to retain. This value controls the level of dimensionality reduction. Gamma. The kernel coefficient for RBF, poly, and sigmoid kernels. It influences the width of the kernel function and the non-linearity of the projection. Uncertainty methods. Confidence intervals based on the variance explained by each component. Confidence intervals can be computed to quantify the uncertainty in the estimated principal components. Challenges and fixes. High computational cost. Computing the kernel matrix can be computationally expensive, especially for large datasets. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1 when dealing with tens of thousands or millions of data points. The time required for kernel computation can become prohibitive. Fixes to challenge 1. Nystrom approximation. This technique approximates the kernel matrix using a subset of data points. significantly reducing computation time. Randomized kernel approximation. This approach uses random projections to approximate the kernel matrix, further reducing computational cost. Overfitting. Choosing an overly complex kernel can lead to overfitting, where the model performs well on the training data but poorly on unseen data. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2 using a high-degree polynomial kernel with a large dataset might lead to overfitting, as the model becomes too sensitive to the training data. Fixes to challenge 2. Regularization techniques like L1 or L2 regularization can be applied to the kernel matrix to prevent overfitting. Cross-validation. Splitting the data into training and validation sets and using cross-validation can help identify the optimal kernel complexity. sklearn decomposition. Latent Dirichlet allocation. Description. Latent Dirichlet allocation (LDA) is a generative probabilistic model that is used to discover latent topics within a collection of documents. It assumes that each document is a mixture of topics, and each topic is a distribution over words. LDA is a powerful tool for topic modeling, text summarization, and document classification. Document term matrix. A matrix where each row represents a document and each column represents a word in the vocabulary. The values in the matrix represent the frequency of each word in each document. Number of topics. An integer representing the desired number of topics to discover. This is a hyperparameter that needs to be tuned. Topic word distribution. A matrix where each row represents a topic and each column represents a word in the vocabulary. The values in the matrix represent the probability of each word belonging to each topic. Document topic distribution. A matrix where each row represents a document and each column represents a topic. The values in the matrix represent the probability of each document belonging to each topic. Initialization. The model starts by randomly assigning each word in the document term matrix to a topic. Expectation step. The model then calculates the probability of each word belonging to each topic, given the current topic assignments. Maximization step. The model updates the topic word distribution and document topic distribution based on the probabilities calculated in the expectation step. Iteration steps 2 and 3 are repeated until the model converges. Perplexity. A measure of how well the model fits the data. Lower perplexity indicates a better fit. Coherence. A measure of how meaningful the discovered topics are. Higher coherence indicates more meaningful topics. Topic word distribution. Heat map. A heat map that visualizes the probability of each word belonging to each topic. Document topic distribution. Heat map. A heat map that visualizes the probability of each document belonging to each topic. Number of topics. The number of topics to discover. Learning method. The method used to update the model parameters. Number of iterations. The number of iterations to run the algorithm. Random state. The random seed to use for initialization. Bayesian LDA. A variant of LDA that incorporates uncertainty in the model parameters. Variational inference. A method for approximating the posterior distribution of the model parameters. Challenge 1. The number of topics is difficult to determine. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1. Selecting too many or too few topics can result in poorly defined topics or a model that does not accurately represent the data. Fixes to challenge 1. Experiment with different numbers of topics and evaluate the results using metrics like perplexity and coherence. Challenge 2. LDA is sensitive to the choice of hyperparameters. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2. Incorrectly setting hyperparameters like the learning rate or number of iterations can lead to poor model performance. Fixes to challenge 2 use grid search or Bayesian optimization to tune the hyperparameters. sklearn decomposition mini-batch dictionary learning. Description mini-batch dictionary learning is an unsupervised machine learning algorithm from scikit-learn that learns a dictionary of atoms basis vectors to represent the data. It utilizes a mini-batch approach for faster computation, making it suitable for large datasets. The goal is to find a sparse representation of the input data in terms of the learned dictionary. Atoms. Inputs. X a 2D array of shape n samples. N features representing the input data. Each row corresponds to a sample and each column to a feature. N components, an integer specifying the number of dictionary atoms to learn. This value determines the dimensionality of the learned representation. Outputs. Components, a 2D array of shape n components. N features representing the learned dictionary atoms. Each row corresponds to a dictionary atom. Code, a 2D array of shape n samples. N components representing the sparse codes for the input data. Each row corresponds to a sample and each column to a code coefficient. This array holds the weights of each atom for reconstructing the data. Steps. Initialize the dictionary atoms randomly. Iterate over mini batches of data. For each sample, find the sparse code that best represents the sample using the current dictionary. This is achieved by solving a sparse coding problem, e.g., using lasso. Update the dictionary atoms based on the calculated sparse codes. This update aims to minimize the reconstruction error. Metrics. Reconstruction error measures how well the dictionary and sparse codes can reconstruct the original data. Lower values indicate better reconstruction. Visualization plots. Dictionary atoms visualization. The learned dictionary atoms can be visualized as images or vectors, depending on the nature of the data. Fine-tune parameters. N components, number of dictionary atoms to learn. Alpha regularization parameter for the sparse coding problem. Higher values lead to sparser codes. Niter number of iterations to run the algorithm. Batch size of the mini batch for each iteration. Uncertainty methods. Bayesian dictionary learning, a probabilistic approach to dictionary learning where the dictionary and sparse codes are treated as random variables with prior distributions. Uncertainty can be estimated from the posterior distribution. Dropout regularization. Randomly dropping out dictionary atoms during training can introduce uncertainty and improve model robustness. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1. Overfitting the dictionary might overfit to the training data, resulting in poor performance on unseen data. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1. Training on a small dataset with a large number of dictionary atoms might lead to overfitting. Fixes to challenge 1. Increase the size of the training dataset. Reduce the number of dictionary atoms. Use regularization techniques like lasso to prevent overfitting. Challenge 2. Computational complexity. Learning a large dictionary can be computationally expensive, especially for large datasets. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2. Training a dictionary with millions of atoms on a dataset with millions of samples. Fixes to challenge 2. Use a mini-batch approach to train the model incrementally. Use a GPU or distributed computing for parallelization. Consider using a smaller number of dictionary atoms. Challenge 3. Choosing the number of dictionary atoms. Determining the optimal number of dictionary atoms is crucial for performance. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 3. Not knowing how many atoms are needed to accurately represent the data. Fixes to challenge 3. Experiment with different values of n components. Use cross-validation to evaluate the performance of different dictionary sizes. Use elbow methods or other model selection techniques to identify the optimal number of atoms. Challenge 4. Data scaling. The performance of mini-batch dictionary learning can be sensitive to the scale of the input data. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 4 features with very different scales may lead to suboptimal dictionary learning. Fixes to challenge 4. Scale the input data using standardization or normalization before training. Experiment with different scaling methods to see which works best for your data. Challenge 5. Initialization. The initialization of the dictionary atoms can influence the final result of the algorithm. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 5 using random initialization may lead to slow convergence or suboptimal performance. Fixes to challenge 5. Try different initialization methods like using a pre-trained dictionary or a subset of the data as initial atoms. Experiment with different random initializations to see which works best for your data. sklearn decomposition mini-batch sparse PCA. Description. Mini-batch sparse PCA implements a sparse principal components analysis PCA using a mini-batch approach to reduce memory consumption. It works by iteratively selecting subsets of the data mini-batches and updating the model on those subsets, instead of processing the entire dataset at once. This makes it suitable for large datasets where processing the entire dataset at once is impractical or computationally expensive. By promoting sparsity, mini-batch sparse PCA seeks to identify the most significant features contributing to the principal components, leading to more interpretable results. Inputs. X. The data matrix of shape and samples. N features. Each row represents a sample, and each column represents a feature. N components. The number of sparse principal components to extract. This is the desired dimensionality of the reduced data. Outputs. Components. The sparse principal components vectors of shape N components. N features. Each row corresponds to a principal component, and each column corresponds to a feature. This provides a representation of the most important features for each principal component. Explained variance. The amount of variance explained by each of the selected components. This gives insight into the proportion of the total variance captured by each component. Steps. Data preparation. The input data is pre-processed to ensure it meets the requirements of the algorithm. This might involve standardization or scaling the features. Initialization. An initial set of sparse principal components is generated randomly. Mini-batch iteration. The algorithm iteratively processes mini-batches of data, updating the principal components based on the information in each batch. This process continues until convergence, where the principal components stabilize. Sparsity regularization. During the iteration, a sparsity penalty is applied to the components, encouraging the algorithm to identify the most significant features for each component and set other features to zero. Metrics. Explained variance ratio measures the proportion of variance in the data captured by each principal component. A higher explained variance ratio indicates a better representation of the data by that component. Sparsity indicates the proportion of zero elements in the principal component vectors. A higher sparsity value suggests a more interpretable solution, as fewer features contribute to each component. Visualization plots. Scree-plot visualizes the explained variance ratio for each principal component. This helps in understanding the relative importance of each component and determining the optimal number of components to retain. Feature importance plot represents the magnitude of the loadings in the principal components. highlighting the most significant features for each component. This plot aids in interpreting the meaning of each component. Fine-tune parameters. N components, the number of sparse principal components to extract. This influences the dimensionality of the reduced data. Alpha, the sparsity controlling parameter. A higher value promotes stronger sparsity, leading to fewer non-zero elements in the components. Batch size, the number of samples in each mini batch. A smaller batch size can lead to slower convergence but may improve performance on large datasets. Niter, the number of iterations to perform. Increasing the number of iterations can potentially improve convergence but may increase computation time. Random state controls the randomness in the initialization of the principal components. Setting a specific value ensures reproducibility of results. Uncertainty methods. Bootstrapping generate multiple versions of the data by randomly sampling with replacement and run mini-batch sparse PCA on each version. The variation in the resulting principal components can be used to quantify uncertainty. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1: difficulty in choosing the optimal number of components. N components. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1: a dataset with complex relationships between features might require a larger number of components to capture the underlying structure. Choosing too few components could lead to information loss, while choosing too many could result in overfitting. Fixes to challenge 1. Scree plot analysis. Analyze the Scree plot, which visualizes the explained variance ratio for each component. Look for an elbow in the plot, where the explained variance ratio drops significantly. This point can help determine the optimal number of components. Cross-validation. Perform cross-validation experiments with different values of N components to evaluate their performance on unseen data. Challenge 2: sensitive to the choice of sparsity parameter alpha. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2: setting a very high value of alpha might lead to extremely sparse components, potentially removing valuable information from the data. Conversely, a low value of alpha could result in components with many non-zero elements, making interpretation challenging. Fixes to challenge 2. Grid search. Conduct the grid search over a range of alpha values to find the optimal value that balances sparsity and performance. Feature importance analysis. Evaluate the feature importance plots for different alpha values. Analyze how the feature weights change with varying sparsity and choose the value that best captures the relevant features. Challenge 3: convergence issues. The algorithm might not converge properly, especially when dealing with large datasets or highly correlated features. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 3: processing a dataset with millions of samples and thousands of features may lead to slow convergence or potentially fail to converge at all. Fixes to challenge 3. Increase the number of iterations. Niter. Increase the number of iterations to allow the algorithm more time to converge. Reduce batch size. Batch size. Decreasing the batch size might improve convergence by providing more frequent updates to the model. Preprocessing. Perform appropriate preprocessing steps, such as standardization or scaling, to improve data quality and potentially facilitate faster convergence. Alternative algorithms. Consider alternative dimensionality reduction techniques like PCA or truncated SVD, which might be more robust to convergence issues. sklearn decomposition NMF. Input 1. Explain in detail a non-negative data matrix, where each row represents a sample and each column represents a feature. For example, In a document term matrix, each row would represent a document and each column would represent a word. The number of components to extract. This parameter controls the dimensionality of the reduced representation of the data. A non-negative matrix W, also known as the feature matrix or basis matrix. Each column of W represents a basis vector, and each row of W represents the contribution of each basis vector to the corresponding sample. A non-negative matrix H, also known as the coefficient matrix or mixture matrix. Each row of H represents the contribution of each basis vector to the corresponding sample. Step 1. Explain in detail. NMF initializes W and H with random non-negative values. NMF iteratively updates W and H using an optimization algorithm that minimizes the Frobenius norm of the difference between the original data matrix and the product of W and H. This process continues until convergence, which means that the difference between the original data matrix and the product of W and H is below a predefined threshold. Metric 1. Explain in detail reconstruction error. This metric measures the difference between the original data matrix and the reconstructed data matrix, the product of W and H. It is used to evaluate the quality of the decomposition. Sparsity. NMF encourages sparsity in the W and H matrices. Sparsity means that most of the entries in these matrices are zero. This property can be helpful for interpretability, as it allows us to identify the most important features and their contributions to the samples. Visualization. Plot 1. Explain in detail heat maps of W and H matrices. These plots allow us to visualize the basis vectors and their contributions to the samples. Scatter plots of the reduced data. These plots allow us to visualize the relationships between the samples in the reduced space. N components. This parameter controls the number of components to extract. Higher values of N components can capture more complex relationships in the data, but may also lead to overfitting. In it, this parameter specifies how to initialize W and H. Common options include random, NNDSVDA, and NNDSVD, which use different methods to initialize the matrices. Bootstrapping. This method involves resampling the original data matrix multiple times and then performing NMF on each resampled dataset. The resulting W and H matrices can then be used to estimate the uncertainty in the decomposition. Bayesian NMF. This approach uses Bayesian inference to estimate the distribution of the W and H matrices. This allows us to quantify the uncertainty in the decomposition. Local minima. The NMF algorithm can get stuck in local minima, which means that it may not find the optimal decomposition. This can happen if the initialization of W and H is poor or if the optimization algorithm does not have enough time to converge. Try different initialization methods, use different optimization algorithms, or increase the number of iterations. Interpretability. The interpretation of the basis vectors and their contributions to the samples can be challenging, especially for large datasets. For example, in a document term matrix, it can be difficult to understand what each basis vector represents. Use visualization techniques such as heat maps and scatter plots to help interpret the results. Use domain knowledge to help understand the basis vectors. sklearn decomposition mini-batch NMF. Description. Mini-batch NMF implements a slightly faster version of the NMF algorithm that is better suited for large datasets. It uses mini batches of samples to update the model, which can significantly speed up the training process. Inputs. X. The data matrix to be decomposed. This is a 2D array of shape n samples. N features, where n samples is the number of samples and n features is the number of features in Pay. Data. N components, the number of components to extract. This is the dimensionality of the latent space that you are projecting your data into. Outputs. Components. This is the components matrix. This is a 2D array of shape n components. N features. Each row represents a component, and each column corresponds to a feature. Reconstruction. This is the reconstruction error of the model. This is a scalar value that represents the difference between the original data matrix and Pay. Reconstructed data matrix. Steps. The algorithm initializes the components matrix randomly. The algorithm iteratively updates the components matrix and the coefficient matrix using a mini batch of samples at a time. The algorithm stops when the reconstruction error converges or when the maximum number of iterations is reached. Metrics. Reconstruction error. This is the difference between the original data matrix and Pay. Reconstructed data matrix. A lower reconstruction error indicates a better fit of the model to the data. Sparsity. This is a measure of how sparse the components matrix is. A sparser components matrix is often more interpretable and easier to understand. Visualization plots. Reconstruction error vs. iteration. This plot shows how the reconstruction error changes over time during training. This can be used to assess the convergence of the algorithm. Components matrix. This plot can be used to visualize the components learned by the model. Each row of the components matrix corresponds to a component, and each column corresponds to a feature. Heat map of the components matrix. This plot can be used to visualize the sparsity of Pay. Components matrix. Fine-tune parameters. N components. This is the number of components to extract. This parameter controls the dimensionality of the latent space that you are projecting your data into. A higher value of n components will result in a more complex model that can capture more of Pay variance in the data. But it can also lead to overfitting. Init. This parameter controls how the components matrix is initialized. The default value is NNDSVD, which uses a non-negative double singular value decomposition. You can also use random to initialize the components matrix randomly. Solver. This parameter controls the solver used to update the components matrix in Pay. Coefficient matrix. The default value is CD, which uses the coordinate descent solver. You can also use mu for multiplicative updates. Alpha. This parameter controls the sparsity of the components matrix. A higher value of alpha will result in a sparser components matrix. Beta. This parameter controls the smoothness of the components matrix. A higher value of beta will result in a smoother components matrix. Uncertainty methods. Bootstrap. This method involves repeatedly sampling the data with replacement and training Pay model on each sample. This can be used to estimate the uncertainty in the components matrix and the reconstruction error. Bayesian NMF. This method uses a Bayesian framework to estimate the uncertainty in the components matrix and the reconstruction error. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1. The algorithm can be slow to converge, especially for large datasets. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1 when training on a large dataset with millions of samples and thousands of features. The algorithm may take several hours or even days to converge. Fixes to challenge 1. Use mini batching. This involves using mini batches of samples to update the model, which can significantly speed up the training process. Use a more efficient solver. The CD solver is generally faster than the mu solver. Use a smaller number of components. This will reduce the complexity of the model and speed up Pay training process. Challenge 2. The algorithm can be sensitive to the initial values of the components matrix. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2 when initializing the components matrix randomly. The algorithm may converge to a local minimum that is not the global minimum. Fixes to challenge 2. Use a good initialization method. The NNDSVD initialization method is generally better than random initialization. Run the algorithm multiple times with different initializations and select the model with the lowest reconstruction error. Challenge 3. The algorithm can be prone to overfitting. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 3 when the number of components is too high. The model may overfit the training data and perform poorly on unseen data. Fixes to challenge 3. Use regularization. Regularization can be used to penalize complex models and prevent overfitting. Use cross-validation to select the optimal number of components. sklearn decomposition PCA. Description. Explain in detail principal component analysis. PCA is a dimensionality reduction technique that aims to identify the principal components, which are the directions of highest variance in the data. By projecting the data onto these components, we can reduce the dimensionality while retaining most of the information. Inputs. Input 1. Explain in detail data. The input data for PCA should be a 2D array or a pandas data frame, where each row represents a data point and each column represents a feature. The data must be numerical. Input 2. Explain in detail n components. This parameter determines the number of principal components to keep. It can be an integer representing the desired number of components or a floating point number between 0.0 and 1.0, representing the proportion of variance to retain. Outputs. Output 1. Explain in detail transformed data. A 2D array representing the transformed data with reduced dimensionality. Each row corresponds to a data point projected onto the selected principal components. Output 2. Explain in detail components. A 2D array containing the principal components, where each row represents a principal component. These components are sorted in decreasing order of explained variance. Steps. Step 1. Explain in detail. Calculate the covariance matrix of the data. This matrix captures the relationships between different features. Step 2. Explain in detail. Compute the eigenvectors and eigenvalues of the covariance matrix. The eigenvectors represent the principal components, while the eigenvalues indicate the amount of variance explained by each component. Step 3. Explain in detail. Sort the eigenvectors by their corresponding eigenvalues in descending order. Step 4. Explain in detail. Select the top n components eigenvectors, which capture the most variance. Step 5. Explain in detail. Project the original data onto the selected principal components, reducing the dimensionality to n components. Metrics. Metric 1. Explain in detail. Explained variance ratio. This metric quantifies the proportion of variance explained by each principal component. It helps assess how much information is retained after dimensionality reduction. Metric 2. Explain in detail. Cumulative explained variance. This metric indicates the total proportion of variance explained by the selected principal components. It helps determine the optimal number of components to retain. Visualization plots. Visualization plot 1. Explain in detail. Scree plot. A scree plot visualizes the eigenvalues of k principal components. It helps identify the elbow point where the eigenvalues start decreasing significantly, suggesting the optimal number of components to retain. Visualization plot 2. Explain in detail. Biplot. A biplot displays the original data points projected onto the first two principal components. It reveals relationships and patterns within the data. Fine-tune parameters. Parameter 1 explain in detail n components as mentioned earlier. This parameter determines the number of principal components to keep. Selecting the optimal value involves balancing dimensionality reduction with information preservation. Parameter 2 explain in detail whiten if set to true. The PCA will perform whitening, which scales the principal components to have unit variance. This can be helpful for some downstream tasks. Uncertainty methods. Uncertainty method 1 explain in detail bootstrapping. This method involves repeatedly resampling the data with replacement and performing PCA on each resampled dataset. The variance in the resulting principal components can be used to estimate uncertainty. Uncertainty method 2 explain in detail cross-validation by splitting the data into training and testing sets and performing PCA on the training data. We can evaluate the performance of the model on the unseen test data. This can provide insights into the model's generalization ability. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1 explain in detail data scaling. PCA is sensitive to the scale of the features. If features have different scales, PCA might favor features with larger variances, leading to an inaccurate representation of the data. Imagine a dataset with features representing income and age. Income might have a much larger scale than age, leading to income dominating the principal components. Standardize the data by subtracting the mean and dividing by the standard deviation for each feature. This ensures that all features have zero mean and unit variance. Challenge 2 explain in detail interpreting principal components. The principal components themselves are linear combinations of the original features, making them difficult to interpret. The first principal component might be a combination of income, age, and education, making it challenging to understand its exact meaning. Visualize the loadings of the principal components, which indicate the contribution of each original feature to the components. This can provide insights into the interpretation of the components. sklearn decomposition sparse PCA. Description sparse principal components analysis. Sparse PCA is a dimensionality reduction technique that aims to find the set of sparse components that can optimally reconstruct the data. It is particularly useful when dealing with high-dimensional data where most features are irrelevant or have sparse representations. Unlike traditional PCA, sparse PCA encourages sparsity in the components, meaning that most of the coefficients in the components are close to zero. This results in more interpretable and potentially more robust components. Inputs. X a matrix of shape n samples. N features, where each row represents a data sample and each column represents a feature. This is the input data that will be decomposed into sparse components. N components, the number of sparse components to extract. This value should be less than or equal to the number of features in the input data. Outputs. Components, a matrix of shape n components. N features, where each row represents a sparse component. Each component is a vector of coefficients that can be used to reconstruct the original data. Error. The reconstruction error, which measures the difference between the original data and the data reconstructed using the sparse components. Steps. Initialization. Sparse PCA starts by initializing the components randomly. Iterative optimization. The algorithm then iteratively updates the components by minimizing the cost function that penalizes the L1 norm of the components, promoting sparsity and the reconstruction. Error. Metrics. Reconstruction error measures the difference between the original data and the data reconstructed. Using the sparse components, a lower reconstruction error indicates better performance. Sparsity quantifies the proportion of non-zero coefficients in the sparse components. A higher sparsity level indicates a more interpretable and potentially more robust model. Visualization plots. Scree-plot. This plot shows the variance explained by each sparse component, sorted in descending order. It can help determine the optimal number of components to extract. Component weights. This plot shows the weights of each feature in each sparse component. It can reveal the underlying patterns in the data and identify the most important features for each component. Fine-tune parameters. N components. The number of sparse components to extract. This parameter controls the dimensionality of the reduced data. Alpha. The sparsity-inducing parameter. A higher alpha value promotes stronger sparsity in the components. Niter. The maximum number of iterations to run the optimization algorithm. Random state. The seed for the random number generator, which ensures reproducibility of the results. Uncertainty methods. Bootstrapping. This method involves resampling the original data with replacement multiple times and fitting sparse PCA to each resampled dataset. The variation in the components across different resamples can be used to estimate the uncertainty in the model. Cross-validation. This method involves splitting the data into training and testing sets multiple times and fitting sparse PCA to the training set. The performance of the model on the testing set can be used to estimate the uncertainty in the model. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1. Choosing the optimal number of components can be challenging, as it depends on the specific data and the desired level of dimensionality reduction. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1 when analyzing a data set with 100 features. Selecting the optimal number of components for sparse PCA can be difficult without proper evaluation. Fixes to challenge 1. Scree-plot. Use a scree-plot to visualize the variance explained by each component and identify an elbow point where the variance explained drops significantly. The number of components before this elbow point could be considered optimal. Cross-validation. Use cross-validation to evaluate the performance of sparse PCA with different numbers of components and select the model with the best performance. Challenge 2. Overfitting can occur if the sparsity parameter alpha is set too high, leading to components that are too sparse and do not generalize well to new data. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2. Setting alpha to a very high value in sparse PCA might result in components that are overly sparse and fail to capture the underlying structure of the data, leading to poor performance on unseen data. Fixes to challenge 2. Cross-validation. Use cross-validation to evaluate the performance of sparse PCA with different alpha values and select the model with the best performance. Regularization. Consider using L2 regularization in addition to L1 regularization to prevent overfitting and improve the generalization performance. sklearn. Decomposition. Sparse coder. Description. The sparse coder class in scikit-learn sklearn is used to find a sparse representation of a set of data points using a dictionary of learned features. It is often used in conjunction with the dictionary learning algorithm, which first learns the dictionary from data. It implements the orthogonal matching pursuit OMP algorithm for finding the sparse code. Inputs. X. A matrix where each row is a data point. Dictionary. A matrix where each column is a dictionary atom or feature. Outputs. Code. A matrix where each row represents the sparse code of the corresponding data point. Steps. The sparse coder class receives a set of data points X and a dictionary of learned features. Dictionary. It then uses the orthogonal matching pursuit OMP algorithm to find a sparse code for each data point. The OMP algorithm iteratively selects the dictionary atoms that best explain the data point and adds them to the code. The sparsity of the code is controlled by a parameter called n-non-zero coefs, which determines the maximum number of non-zero coefficients in each code. Metrics. Reconstruction error measures how well the data points can be reconstructed from the sparse code. And the dictionary. Sparsity measures the number of non-zero coefficients in the sparse codes. Visualization plots. Scatter plots visualizing the sparse codes in a low-dimensional space. Heat maps representing the sparse codes with different colors for different values. Fine-tune parameters. N non-zero coefs, the maximum number of non-zero coefficients in each sparse code. Transform non-zero coefs, the maximum number of non-zero coefficients in the transformed data. Transform alpha regularization parameter for the transform step. Positive whether to enforce positive coefficients in the sparse code. Uncertainty methods. Bayesian sparse coding incorporates prior distributions over the sparse codes in dictionary. Atoms to estimate uncertainty. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1, dictionary overfitting. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1. If the dictionary is too large or the training data is not representative, the sparse coder may overfit to the training data, resulting in poor performance on new data. Fixes to challenge 1. Regularization. Use techniques like L1 or L2 regularization to penalize large dictionary atoms and prevent overfitting. Data augmentation. Generate more training data to improve the generalization ability of a sparse coder. Challenge 2, computational complexity. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2. Solving the OMP problem for large datasets with many features can be computationally expensive. Fixes to challenge 2. Approximate OMP. Use faster, approximate versions of the OMP algorithm, like the randomized KSVD algorithm. Feature selection. Reduce the number of features by selecting the most relevant ones using feature selection techniques. Challenge 3, poor sparsity. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 3. The sparse codes may not be sufficiently sparse if the dictionary is not well suited for the data. Fixes to challenge 3. Dictionary learning. Use a dictionary learning algorithm to learn a dictionary that is better suited for the data. Sparsity regularization. Add a sparsity regularization term to the objective function to encourage sparse codes. sklearn decomposition. Truncated SVD. Description. Explain in detail. Truncated SVD is a dimensionality reduction technique that applies singular value decomposition SVD to a data matrix to identify the most important components, while discarding the least important ones. It achieves this by selectively keeping only the top n components singular values and their corresponding vectors. This method efficiently reduces the number of features, making data processing faster and often improving performance for tasks like classification or clustering. Inputs. Input 1. Explain in detail. The input data is a 2D array representing the data matrix where each row corresponds to a data point and each column represents a feature. Input 2. Explain in detail the number of components to keep n components. This parameter determines the dimensionality of the reduced space. Outputs. Output 1. Explain in detail the transformed data matrix with reduced dimensionality, where each row represents a data point and each column represents a new, more informative feature. Output 2 explain in detail the components matrix U in SVD, which contains the vectors corresponding to the selected singular values. These vectors provide insights into the directions of maximum variance in the data. Steps. Step 1 explain in detail compute the singular value decomposition SVD of the input data matrix. Step 2 explain in detail select the top n components singular values and their corresponding vectors U. Step 3 explain in detail project the original data onto the selected vectors U to obtain a reduced dimensional representation of the data. Metrics. Metric 1 explain in detail explained variance ratio the proportion of variance captured by each component. This metric helps assess how much information is retained after dimensionality reduction. Metric 2 explain in detail reconstruction error the difference between the original data and a data reconstructed from the reduced representation. This metric quantifies the information lost during dimensionality reduction. Visualization plots. Visualization plot 1 explain in detail scree plot visualizes the explained variance of each component. It helps identify the elbow point where the variance starts decreasing significantly, indicating an appropriate number of components to keep. Fine-tune parameters. Parameter 1 explain in detail n components the number of components to keep. This parameter directly controls the dimensionality of the reduced space and impacts the trade-off between dimensionality reduction and information preservation. Parameter 2 explain in detail algorithm specifies the algorithm used for SVD computation. RPAC is suitable for large matrices, while randomized is faster for very large matrices but may be less accurate. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1 explain in detail choosing the optimal number of components. Determining the optimal number of components to retain can be challenging, as it impacts the trade-off between dimensionality reduction and information preservation. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1 trying to find the best balance between reducing a dimensionality and keeping enough information for a classification task. Fixes to challenge 1 use the explained variance ratio to identify the elbow point in the scree plot, where the variance starts decreasing significantly. This point often suggests an appropriate number of components. Challenge 2 explain in detail handling sparse data. Truncated SVD can be less efficient for sparse datasets, as it needs to compute the full SVD of the data matrix. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2 analyzing a large dataset of customer purchase history, where most customers have only purchased a few items, resulting in a sparse matrix. Fixes to challenge 2 consider alternative dimensionality reduction methods like sparse PCA or NMF, which are designed to handle sparse data more efficiently. sklearn. Decomposition. Dict learning. Description dictionary learning aims to find a set of atoms dictionary elements that can represent the data in a sparse way. It learns a dictionary matrix and a sparse code matrix that can reconstruct the original data. This method is particularly useful for compressing data, identifying underlying patterns, and extracting features. Inputs. X. This is the input data, represented as a 2D array where each row is a data point and each column represents a feature. N components. This parameter determines the number of atoms dictionary elements to learn. It controls the dimensionality of the learned representation. Outputs. Code. This is a 2D array representing the sparse code matrix. Each row corresponds to a data point, and each column represents the coefficient of the corresponding atom. Dictionary. This is a 2D array representing the learned dictionary matrix. Each column corresponds to an atom. Steps. Initialization. The dictionary matrix is initialized randomly. Iterative optimization. The algorithm iteratively updates the dictionary and the sparse code matrix using optimization methods like coordinate descent or gradient descent. Sparse coding. Step. Given the current dictionary, the algorithm finds the sparsest code for each data point that best reconstructs it. Dictionary update. Step. The dictionary is updated based on the learned sparse codes, aiming to minimize the reconstruction error. Convergence. The iterations continue until the reconstruction error reaches a predefined threshold, or a maximum number of iterations is reached. Metrics. Reconstruction error measures the difference between the original data and its reconstruction using the learned dictionary and codes. Sparsity measures the sparsity of the learned codes, reflecting the number of non-zero entries in the code matrix. Visualization plots. Dictionary visualization. Each atom of the learned dictionary can be visualized individually, providing insights into the underlying patterns captured by the model. Sparse code distribution. The distribution of non-zero values in the sparse code matrix can be visualized to understand the sparsity patterns. Fine-tune parameters. Alpha controls the sparsity of the learned codes. Higher values encourage sparser codes. Fit algorithm determines the algorithm used for sparse coding. Options include LAS, CD, and OMP. Transform algorithm determines the algorithm used for transforming new data into sparse codes. Options include LAS, CD, and OMP. Uncertainty methods. Bayesian dictionary learning introduces prior distributions over the dictionary elements, allowing for uncertainty estimation. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1. The learned dictionary may be sensitive to the initialization and can lead to local optima. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1 in a dataset with complex patterns. Different random initializations might lead to different learned dictionaries. Fixes to challenge 1. Initialize the dictionary with a good starting point based on prior knowledge of the data. Run the algorithm multiple times with different initializations and select the best performing dictionary based on reconstruction error. Challenge 2. Choosing the appropriate number of atoms n components is crucial and can influence the performance of the model. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2. Selecting too few atoms might not capture all the underlying patterns, while selecting too many atoms might lead to overfitting. Fixes to challenge 2. Use techniques like cross-validation to determine the optimal number of components. Analyze the reconstruction error and sparsity for different values of n components. Consider using model selection strategies like AIC or BIC. Challenge 3. The algorithm can be computationally expensive, especially for large datasets. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 3. Processing a dataset with millions of data points and thousands of features can take a considerable amount of time. Fixes to challenge 3. Utilize efficient algorithms and data structures. Consider using parallel processing or distributed computing frameworks. Explore alternative algorithms like KSVD, which can be faster in some cases. sklearn. Decomposition. Dict Learning Online. Description. The Dict Learning Online function performs online dictionary learning, which is a method for finding a set of atoms or dictionary elements that can be used to sparsely represent the input data. This method is particularly useful for large datasets where it is impractical to process all data at once. It iteratively updates the dictionary and the sparse coding of the data points. Inputs. X a 2D array of shape n samples. N features representing the input data. Each row corresponds to a data point. N components, an integer representing the number of atoms or dictionary elements to learn. Outputs. Code a 2D array of shape n samples. N components representing the sparse codes for each data point. Each row contains the coefficients that linearly combine the dictionary atoms to reconstruct the corresponding data point. Dictionary a 2D array of shape n components. N features representing the learned dictionary atoms. Each row corresponds to an atom. Steps. Initialization. The algorithm starts with a randomly initialized dictionary. Iterative update. The algorithm iteratively updates the dictionary and the sparse codes based on the current data point. Sparse coding for each data point. The algorithm finds the sparse code that minimizes the reconstruction error using an online optimization method, e.g., FISTA. Dictionary update. The dictionary is updated by minimizing the reconstruction error over all data points seen so far. Convergence. The algorithm continues updating the dictionary and sparse codes until convergence is reached. This can be determined by monitoring the reconstruction error or the dictionary update. Metrics. Reconstruction error. The difference between the original data and the reconstructed data using the learned dictionary and sparse codes. It measures the accuracy of the representation. Sparsity. The number of non-zero elements in the sparse codes. It measures the degree of sparsity achieved in representing the data. Visualization plots. Scatter plot of the learned dictionary atoms. Histogram of the non-zero elements in the sparse codes. Fine-tune parameters. Alpha, a float representing the regularization parameter for the sparse coding. Higher values lead to sparser codes. Niter, an integer representing the maximum number of iterations to run the algorithm. Batch size, an integer representing the number of data points to use in each iteration. Smaller batch sizes can lead to faster convergence but may be less stable. Uncertainty methods. Not applicable. This algorithm does not directly provide uncertainty estimates. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1. Choosing the optimal number of dictionary atoms and components. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1. If the number of atoms is too low, the dictionary might not be able to accurately represent the data. Conversely, if the number of atoms is too high, the representation might be less sparse and the algorithm might overfit the data. Fixes to challenge 1. Experiment with different values of n components and evaluate the performance of the algorithm based on the reconstruction error and sparsity. Cross-validation can be used to find the optimal value. Challenge 2. Choosing the optimal regularization parameter alpha. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2. A high value of alpha can lead to very sparse codes, which might not be able to capture all the information in the data. A low value of alpha can lead to less sparse codes, which might not be as interpretable. Fixes to challenge 2. Experiment with different values of alpha and evaluate the performance of the algorithm based on the reconstruction error and sparsity. Cross-validation can be used to find the optimal value. sklearn decomposition FASTICA. Description. Explain in detail. FAST-ICA is an algorithm for independent component analysis. ICA is a statistical method for separating a multivariate signal into a set of independent components. It is based on the idea that the observed data is a linear combination of underlying independent sources. The goal of ICA is to recover the original sources from the observed data. Inputs. Input 1. Explain in detail. The input data must be a 2D array. where each row represents a sample and each column represents a feature. The data should be centered zero mean and preferably whitened. Input to explain in detail the number of independent components to extract. This is also known as the number of sources. Outputs. Output 1 explain in detail the estimated independent components. This is a 2D array, where each row represents an independent component and each column represents a sample. Output 2 explain in detail the mixing matrix. This is a 2D array that represents the linear transformation that was applied to the independent components to generate the observed data. Steps. Step 1 explain in detail the fast ICA algorithm begins by whitening the input data. Whitening ensures that the data has zero mean and unit variance. This helps to improve the performance of the algorithm. Step 2 explain in detail the algorithm, then iteratively searches for directions in the data that are maximally non-Gaussian. This is done by using a contrast function that measures the non-Gaussianity of a given direction. The contrast function is maximized by finding the direction that has the highest kurtosis. The kurtosis is a statistical measure of the peakedness of a distribution. A distribution with a high kurtosis is more peaked than a distribution with a low kurtosis. Metrics. Metric 1 explain in detail the kurtosis of the estimated independent components. A higher kurtosis indicates a more peaked distribution, which is a sign of non-Gaussianity. Metric 2 explain in detail the mutual information between the estimated independent components. A lower mutual information indicates that the components are more independent. Visualization plots. Visualization plot 1 explain in detail a scatter plot of the estimated independent components. This can be used to visualize the relationships between the different components. Visualization plot 2 explain in detail a histogram of the estimated independent components. This can be used to visualize the distribution of each component. Fine-tune parameters. Parameter 1 explain in detail the algorithm parameter n components is used to specify the number of independent components to extract. Parameter 2 explain in detail the algorithm parameter algorithm specifies the algorithm to use. For the optimization step, the options are parallel and deflation. The parallel algorithm is faster but may not converge as well. The deflation algorithm is slower but is more likely to converge. Uncertainty methods. Uncertainty method 1 explain in detail one way to assess the uncertainty in the estimated independent components is to perform multiple runs of the fast ICA algorithm with different random seeds. The variability in the estimated components across different runs can be used to estimate a uncertainty. Uncertainty method 2 explain in detail another way to assess the uncertainty is to use bootstrapping. Bootstrapping involves randomly sampling with replacement from the original data. The fast ICA algorithm can be applied to each bootstrap sample, and the results can be used to estimate the uncertainty. Challenges and fixes. Challenge 1 explain in detail the fast ICA algorithm may not converge if the data is highly correlated. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 1 if the input data is highly correlated. Then the fast ICA algorithm may not be able to find independent components. This is because the algorithm relies on the assumption that the data is a linear combination of independent sources. If the sources are highly correlated, then the algorithm may not be able to distinguish between them. Fixes to challenge 1. One way to address this problem is to pre-process the data by using a method such as principal component analysis (PCA) to reduce the dimensionality of the data and remove a correlation between the features. Another option is to use a different ICA algorithm that is more robust to correlated data. Challenge 2. Explain in detail. The fast ICA algorithm may be sensitive to the choice of a contrast function. Sample use case that resulted in challenge 2. The fast ICA algorithm relies on a contrast function to measure the non-Gaussianity of a given direction. The choice of the contrast function can affect the performance of the algorithm. For example, if the contrast function is not well suited for the data, then the algorithm may not converge or it may produce inaccurate results. Fixes to challenge 2. One way to address this problem is to try different contrast functions and compare their performance on the data. Another option is to use a different ICA algorithm that uses a different contrast function. Sklearn decomposition non-negative factorization. Description. Explain in detail non-negative matrix factorization. NMF is a dimensionality reduction technique that decomposes a non-negative matrix into two non-negative matrices. This technique is particularly useful when dealing with data where negative values are not meaningful, such as images, text, or gene expression data. NMF seeks to find paths-based representations of the data, where each component corresponds to a specific feature or aspect of the data. Inputs. Input 1. Explain in detail X, a non-negative matrix of shape and samples. N features. Each row represents a data point, and each column represents a feature. N components. The number of components to extract. This parameter controls the desired level of dimensionality reduction. W. A non-negative matrix of shape and samples. N components. This matrix represents the coefficients of each data point in the basis defined by H. H. A non-negative matrix of shape and components. N features. This matrix represents the basis vectors or components. Steps. Step 1. Explain in detail. NMF starts with an initial guess for the matrices W and H. It then iteratively updates these matrices using a multiplicative update rule, ensuring that all elements remain non-negative. This process continues until a convergence criterion is met, typically when the reconstruction error of the original data stabilizes. Metrics. Metric 1. Explain in detail reconstruction error. This measures how well the NMF decomposition can reconstruct the original data. Lower reconstruction errors indicate better fit. Sparsity. NMF often leads to sparse solutions, where many elements in W and H are zero. This property can be desirable for interpretability. Visualization plots. Visualization plot 1. Explain in detail heat maps of W and H. This can help visualize the components and their contributions to the original data. Scatter plots of the components. This can help identify relationships between the components and visualize data clustering. N components. The number of components to extract. This controls the level of dimensionality reduction. Init. The initialization method for W and H. Options include random, NNDSVD, or a custom initialization matrix. Bootstrapping. Resampling the data multiple times and performing NMF on each sample can provide estimates of uncertainty in the components. Bayesian NMF. This approach incorporates prior distributions over W and H, allowing for uncertainty quantification in the factorization. Initialization sensitivity. NMF can be sensitive to the initial values of W and H, potentially leading to different solutions and local optima. A user trying to analyze a complex dataset with high dimensionality, and the NMF algorithm might converge to suboptimal solutions depending on the initial guess. Try different initialization methods. Experiment with random, NNDSVD, or custom matrices to see if convergence improves. Multiple runs with different initializations. Run NMF multiple times with different initializations and select the solution with the best performance. Use a warm start. Provide a previously learned NMF solution as an initialization, which can be particularly useful for incremental learning or when dealing with related datasets. Computational cost. NMF can be computationally expensive, especially for large datasets with many components. A researcher analyzing a large-scale gene expression dataset with thousands of genes and samples. NMF with a high number of components might be computationally demanding. Reduce the number of components. Consider reducing the number of components to reduce computational time. Utilize efficient implementations. Explore efficient NMF implementations that leverage parallel computing or optimized libraries. Use a sparse representation. Employ sparse NMF variants that take advantage of sparsity in data to reduce computational complexity.